What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the Joseline's Cabaret After Show, only on Damieon After Dark, where we will be recapping the latest episode of the Cabaret. So, if you're a fan of the Joseline's Cabaret and Zeus Network shows like Baddies and so much more reality TV, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and that thumbs up button to like this video. That helps me get in the YouTube algorithm so more people can find us, and I would truly appreciate that so much. Also, join the conversation and get in the comment section, because I would love to hear what you guys have to say about the most recent episode of Joseline's Cabaret, because we got some things to get into. Okay, last but not least, if you want to donate to the Damieon After Dark channel, in the description box will be some ways that you can tip your boy. So I will leave that below. Thank you guys so much for the donations, the support, liking my videos, commenting. I appreciate everything that you guys do for me, okay? I totally thought I had uploaded this video already, and I didn't. I was looking at all my videos. I'm like, where's the latest Cabaret episode? And I'm like, oh shit, it never got uploaded. It never got done. So I'm sorry that that's late. So let's get into it all. All right. The most recent episode of the Cabaret started with the two new girls of this season, Chinks and Lex. They got into it. They're scrapping. Joseline says that they need to let the pimp beef go, okay? Because they're beefing over, they pretty much have the same pimp. Now, one of the girls says that was her man. The other girl says that it was their pimp. I don't know, but somehow these girls know one another. I have a feeling they're probably from Texas, because Zeus likes to cast, like, whatever city they're filming in. I know sometimes they'll cast girls in that city, and then the girls end up knowing one another. So I have to give the fight to Chinks, though. When it comes down to Chinks versus Lex, I feel like Chinks took that. What do y'all think when it comes down to those two? Do you feel like Lex had the better hand, or do you feel like Chinks had the upper hand in that fight? I have to give it to Chinks. Now, the girls start to get ready for this pool party that Joseline is having. She has a hosting for them. It's an event. It's a Joseline's Cabaret party at some club in Dallas or Houston, wherever they are. I forget what city they're in. I think they're in Houston. So they're going to this. They're getting ready for this pool party that Joseline's arranged. And the girls are going out, they all got cute, got done up. Andrea says that she is going for the country hillbilly bumpkin look. And I'm just like, baby, you ain't got to try too hard for that, okay? Because you give it. All right, you give country hillbilly. Listen, and you know what? Actually, that's an insult to the country hillbillies out there. All right. Y'all know I'm from Alabama, and it's a bunch of country hillbillies out here, so I'm not even gonna give them that. Like, that's an insult to them. I ain't gonna give that to Andrea. Diamond asks on the bus. So the girls get on this Sprinter van. They're headed to this appearance, and Diamond, y'all know Diamond's one of the girls from season 3 and 4. She asked on the bus, who misses Wet Wet? Because Wet Wet is not around. We know after last week's episode, Wet Wet got sent out the house. She was pissed. She's crying. The police showed up because she was raising hell out in the front yard. So she asked, who misses Wet Wet? And some of the girls raised their hand. I want to say a good 5 or 6 girls raised their hand. And then Miss Ocean, Miss Ass Kisser, Miss Ocean, and is Ocean mixed, y'all? I can't tell if she's white or if she's mixed. I don't know. You would think as someone who is mixed and presents as white could be able to tell other mixed folks that, and usually I can, but I can't tell with her. Anyway, Ocean, she says, she didn't raise her hand that she missed Wet Wet, and she said that she feels like there's a time and place for everything, and that Wet Wet has been here for 3 seasons, and she can't dance. She's like, what do you bring to the show other than entertainment? What? What? Like, that sounded so stupid. What do you mean? Do you realize you're on a show to be entertainment, to entertain? That just, I don't know. It's giving hater vibes from Ocean. Like I feel like she's a low key little bit of a hater. Now, Ocean has a point in real life. Okay, if this were real life and y'all were auditioning for Jocelyn's Cabaret and it wasn't a TV show and all that, okay, I could get that. This girl starts drama. This girl, whatever, whatever, whatever. But let's be face it. If it wasn't for Wet Wet, would Jocelyn's Cabaret season 5 even be interesting into the first 3-4 episodes? She's been a lot of the dramas thus far. I mean, listen, I'm not going to give Wet Wet all the accolades and all the props, but we have to give her credit where credit's due. We have to give it, and I think they don't like her because Wet Wet's got more confidence than anybody I've ever seen. I want the confidence that she's got, okay? Now Ocean also says, how is Wet Wet going to be our house mom and try to watch after us when her own hygiene is not even up to par? Miss Ocean said, okay, I'm going to clock in real quick in these confessionals. Boop, 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 boop. And I'm going to read a bitch now real quick. I'm like, ooh, damn. Wet Wet had to take that stray. So they get to the pool party, which looked really lit. I'm not even going to lie. I'm like, I need to get out to Texas. I've always heard Texas is lit. Houston, Dallas. I'm actually going to Houston next week, but I won't be there long. I've got a layover in Houston. I've never been there, but I've heard it's jumping. And this pool party looked nice. This pool party looked lit. It looked fun. It looked like it had, but after watching the footage, it looked like it had the potential to turn into a freak off. I mean, the girls were making out with each other. They sucking on titties. People are naked. You know, they twerking on one another, sitting each other's lap. I mean, it was very erotic and homoerotic too. Girls on girls. Okay, girls on girls. And I'm not a prude. I'm not a prude. The party looked fun. I'm just saying it looked like if Diddy were there, it would have been a freak off. The way they was. Which I gotta do a video on Diddy though. By the way, I gotta do a video on him because I got a lot of tea and a lot of videos and a lot of stuff that we need to talk about. Now, as much as I don't like Danny, y'all know we don't fuck with Danny over here. We don't fuck with the hyenas. The hyenas are Danny and Andrea. They follow Jocelyn around. They do what she says. They're do girls. They're bobbleheads. They're yes men. And I call them the hyenas because they never shut the fuck up. Now, I don't like her, but I loved her blue confessional look. She had the blue short wavy hair, and then she had on like this blue crystal-y top. It was really cute. I liked it. So Jocelyn brings the OGs out first at the club or at the party, and you know, Diamond, Raven, the hyenas, Andrea and Danny. Who else? Who's the other OG? I'm missing somebody, but it wasn't. I don't think Wet Wet was there at that point, and she's not dancing anyway. But anyway, she had the OGs come out and do the doon cha cha in this bitch, doon cha cha, doon cha cha in this bitch, to the beat, to the beat. Now they come out and they do the dance, right? And Jocelyn notices that some of the girls are fucking up. Danny, and Jocelyn even says this is the easiest dance. Y'all have done it 1,000 times. How are you fucking it up? And I agree with her because even back on the season when they were learning the Doon Cha Cha dance, we, the fans, we even learned it at home. Right? It's a simple 8 count. Like, it's so simple. I could literally learn that dance in 5 minutes. So the fact that Danny's up here looking a hot mess, and I think there was a couple. I think there was another girl. It might have been Andrea, actually. I can't remember. But they're never in sync with it, and just yeah. Even the fans know the dance. Come on now. And did y'all notice at the pool party, there was a live snake there. Yes, a snake, bitch. I'm not talking about Joseline. I'm not talking about the girls. I'm talking a real live snake. Now, y'all know the snake that Britney Spears had in that performance years ago? That big yellow snake? They had one of them out there. And, bitch, Isis put the snake's head in her mouth. And, she was trying to pretend she was giving a blowjob, but using the snake and its head, and put the snake's head in her mouth, and was like, I'm like, what the fuck? And then Raven had the snake around her. I'm like, no ma'am. And that snake bites your tongue, and you, like, what? No. No, I don't care how trained, animals, certain animals, wild shit, like snake. I feel like you never know, what if one of them snaps or something, just has a impulse. I don't know. Maybe I'm ignorant to it. Maybe this is a start. I don't know. Maybe y'all can help me out in the comments. Now, one thing I've noticed thus far this season is, and Joseline says that she's sober, and I didn't believe it at first. But after watching this season so far, and we're only 3 to 4 episodes in, but you can tell she really is sober. I feel like we're seeing a different Joseline. I don't get coke vibes, right? Her pupils aren't, was it big or little, whatever it is when you do coke. She's not sweating. She's not screaming at everybody. She's not impulsive. So that shows me that she's not using like she once was. I feel like we're seeing a different Joseline. And I just hope it stays that way. Now, don't get me wrong, she still has her ways. We're gonna see her next week literally attack Wet Wet, punch Wet Wet. We're gonna see that happen. But it's not as bad as it was since the beginning, because we know from watching Joseline's Cabaret in the past, seasons 1, 2, 3, 4, that Joseline treated those girls like dirt. This season, I feel like the season 5 girls are getting it a little easier. Especially last season, she was really last season, Joseline was really getting in their ass. Now they get on the Sprinter van and they go back home after the event, and Raven, I don't know if a producer put this battery in her back or if she's trying to, do like Wet Wet and just keep shit started a little bit. I get it. They have a job to do. Raven asked, does anybody have any issues to get off your chest before we get back to the house? Now, in real life, if somebody does that, it's like, bitch, why are you starting shit? But I get it. Raven's trying to clock in. She's trying to put in the work. So she's like, anybody got any issues? Kay confronts Isis. Now, Kay is the one that I feel like she's probably had a little too much plastic surgery. She's got those really refined square jaws. No shade, Kay. Isis called her Jigsaw at one point. I like Isis. I feel like Isis is going to be a standout this season. I like her. She stands on her business. She don't play. And we're going to talk more about Isis in a minute. But actually, we're going to talk more about her now. Kay confronts Isis and says, why were you starting shit in the club? Why were you starting shit in the club? She says that she tapped Isis and told Isis that it was time to go, that they were leaving. And Isis told her, don't push me. Now, we didn't see the footage, but the way Kay's energy was towards Isis in that moment, it kind of gave off like she was in her face, passive aggressive a little. And it's like, if Isis told you not to push her, did you push her? Why would she say that if she didn't feel like you pushed her, my love? Or maybe did you nudge her and it came off as a push? Were you like, hey, we're leaving, but I mean, I can kind of understand, 'cause it's like, I'm just meeting you. This is the first day. Don't put your hands on me. But anyway, I thought they were going to end up scrapping on the bus, but they went from kind of going back and forth to Kay twerking on Isis. So I'm like, okay. Now, Raven doing a little too much. Raven's feeling herself a little too much. And she tries to check Mooney. Mooney is the BBW, the bigger girl. Yeah, I think it's her name, Mooney. This is like the second or third time Raven has tried to check Mooney about not being loud enough, not being, in your face, not showcasing her personality, not taking her clothes off, not being a loud, messy ass extra bitch, right? Pretty much Raven tries to check her about that. Now, I was proud of Mooney in that moment because she checked Raven's ass right the fuck back, okay? Right the fuck back. Mooney told her, she said, I don't have to do anything you tell me to do, and I don't have to be anybody else other than me. If I don't want to be like y'all, loud and in your face, I don't have to be. I'm me, and I'm not changing for anybody. And I respect that, okay? I respect that 1,000%. She says she doesn't have to act out like that, and she's doing her. And it's like, Raven, you have a lot of room to talk, my love, because you're not the most interesting either. The only reason you've been brought back is because Joseline only brings back the girls that literally do what she says. Now, the other girls that get brought back, like Wet Wet, are brought back by the network. Because I've told y'all, Joseline don't want Wet Wet back. If it was up to Joseline, Wet Wet would have never been back last season either. The network overrides that decision because when they look at the numbers and they look at the statistics and the tweets and what the people are saying, they know that Wet Wet is a star of that show, so they bring her back. They know that people watch because of her and that she's going to help the season, shake that shit up a little bit. So, Raven, for you to act like you're just some star, you don't really give much, my love. You really don't. You throw a wig on and you do the robot and you think that you're just like, she literally, y'all have seen it. We talked about that. Every time somebody's wig flies off, Raven goes and throws it on and she starts, because she got a viral moment her first season doing that, and she's still doing that 3 seasons later. And it's like, what do you have that's new? Can we get some new material? Now, Mooney says that she feels like Raven was trying to big dog her. And I feel the exact same way, Mooney. I feel you on that. I feel like Raven was 1,000% thought you was on pussy. She thought you was on pussy time. She thought that you was quiet, that you was, shy. You wasn't going to say nothing. Let me pick, let me poke, let me prod. Let me get my camera time off this girl. Because if she really genuinely cared, because I get what, I can look at the flip side of this as Raven's been on the show for 3 seasons to be like, you don't want to be too quiet because the producers are going to notice that, and that's going to influence Joseline's decision when she sends somebody home. So, you want to try to put yourself out there a little bit more. You can do that, but there's a way of saying it, and I also felt like Raven did it on the Sprinter van in front of all those girls just to try to show out and big dog. I really feel like that's what she tried to do. If you genuinely cared, you would have had a conversation with her on or off camera, separately, away from the girls. That's the way I feel. Like, pull me to the side, because when you do it in front of people, now I feel like you're trying to play me and clown me, and I'm just going to clown you right back. Now, when they get back to the house, it's time for elimination. There's like 17 to 20 girls at this point. Joseline is going to be sending 2 of them home. Or she says 4, but I think only 2 go home that night. Now, Joseline also brought 2 girls back from the pool party that she thought would be a good fit for the cabaret, she says. Now, a lot of the girls in the house that have already been there aren't really feeling this decision. They feel like these girls didn't work for it. They didn't have to audition for it. They didn't have to go through what they went through to get there. And they feel like that these two new girls that are coming back to the house are getting a free pass just to come in the house when they didn't really work for it, right? So we got these two new girls here at the elimination tonight. I'm thinking they're not going to go home. If she just brought them in, why would she send them home right away, right? So she brings the two new girls from the pool party. She thought they might be a good fit for the cabaret. And all the girls are lined up. It's time for elimination. Now, those two new girls, how do y'all feel about them? Because I feel like the second girl, her name was Rose. She's the youngest in the house. I thought she was really pretty. Now, for her to be the youngest in the house and for her to be 21, she looked a little older than that. Maybe it was the makeup. I don't know. But she looked every bit of 30 to be 21 and to be the youngest. But she was pretty, right? Now, the first girl, Joseline was talking about how, I brought back two of the baddest bitches. I'm like, the first girl like kind of like a dusty stripper to me. No shade, because there's some bad strippers out there, some badass strippers. But I'm talking about a dusty one, like in them cheap strip clubs. That's what it was giving me, like a dusty stripper. I hope y'all can't hear my dog. He's barking, and I may have to go tell his little ass to shut up. Now, so before she sends some of the girls home, Joseline asks Isis what her issue is with Andrea. She's like, what's your issue with Andrea? And all of a sudden, Andrea starts getting buck, right? Starts getting loud. Oh, bitch, this, blah, blah. Just like we talked in previous recaps, Andrea all of a sudden is all about this thug life. Andrea all of a sudden thinks everybody is scared of her. Like, I don't know where she's getting that people are afraid of her. Baby, nobody is. It's like you're like a little baby deer. Nobody's afraid of you. So, but she's trying to show out in front of Joseline and the girls, obviously. She's getting bucked. She's trying to talk to Isis. And Isis wasn't even talking to her crazy. When Joseline asked her, like, Isis, what's your issue with Andrea? Isis is trying to explain it. Andrea's the one that's being very, aggressive, passive-aggressive, bitchy, like, where is it coming from, girl? Have a civil conversation. Y'all talk it out. You're so fake and phony and fraudulent trying to be something that you're not. She really showed her ass, low-key. Andrea did. In that scene, in the elimination scene, she showed her ass, literally. Because at one point, she was like, bending over and slapping her ass like, you're jealous. And Isis low-key ate her up without even trying. Like, without even trying. She didn't have to do much to eat you up, Andrea, because you made yourself look like a fucking fool. I mean, the hyenas should have been the ones to go home. They need to go home. They're lame. They're unoriginal. They've been here 3 seasons, and what have they brought? Like, what the fuck? Why do y'all keep investing in these girls? I don't get it. Now, Kay tries to speak up and defend Andrea by saying, well, Isis, you did start it. And Isis says, shut up, Jigsaw. Yes, bitch, that's how you do it. That's how you ping pong. Or when somebody come for you, you ping pong that bitch right back with a good old read. Because it's giving Jigsaw. I mean, when you did too much plastic surgery and you get the fillers and it brings your cheeks up here and you start outlining your jaws and your lips get big, you do start to you either look like a cat or you look like Jigsaw from the Saw movies. Y'all know what I'm talking about? The little swirly cheek. Like it's just all too much. I like Isis. I like her. I like Jayla too because Jayla. I like Jayla. I like her. I like you, Jayla. Jayla, she's the one that has that nose ring. Really pretty girl. She helped Isis out because Joseline was like, Jayla, how did you get involved? Are you friends with Isis? And she was like, no, I'm not friends with her, but I met her coming here on the show. And when I noticed that those two girls were jumping her, Andrea and Danny, I didn't think it was cool. And where I'm from, we don't do that. So I jumped in to help her. And I respect that. I probably wouldn't do it because, like I told y'all before, as soon as you help bitches, they ain't there for you to help you. But I respect her for doing that because that's some real shit. Especially when you got those hyenas jumping on you like a motherfucking, like a pack of hyenas. Exactly what they are. Now Joseline is actually bonding with Isis in this moment versus her good little minion Andrea. I thought she was gonna take Andrea's side and, you know, be a bitch to Isis, but she actually wasn't, because when she finds out that Isis shares the same birthday as her, which I think is November 2nd, and she finds out that they're both Scorpios, I believe, Joseline immediately loves it, and she's like, oh, if you don't fuck with Isis, you don't fuck with me, because we both have the same birthday, and we're both Scorpios. And Joseline ends up telling them they need to suck each other's pussy. She's like, at the end of the day, just suck each other's pussy. I'm like, the only pussy sucking is Andrea and Danny sucking your pussy, Joseline, because that's what they do. That's what they do. That's the only pussy sucking that's going on around this bitch. And why? Meanwhile, while Isis is eating them up, Andrea and Danny, why are they doing this whole... Did y'all notice that? They were like slapping their elbows and their hands. Like, I'm like, what the fuck does that... Like, what does that mean? You hoes can't fight. So if that's like some kind of fighting gesture, you hoes cannot fight. And if you watch the girls that are sitting there waiting for elimination, they're literally so annoyed. And again, this is why I call them the hyenas. Danny and Andrea would not shut up, and the girls are like literally sitting there like, because, you know, watching it, I was annoyed. And it literally probably was a lot longer than what we saw. I know it was, actually, because they film hours and then they edit it down into a few minutes. Well, not Zeus, because Zeus will make a scene 10 minutes. Now, all of this bumping of the gums, all this running of the mouth by Andrea and Danny, Isis says, okay, fuck it, let's go. It's up and it's stuck. Y'all want it? Y'all want to run your mouth? Let's fight. So they get down there. It's Andrea. It's versus Isis. They sitting down there. They ready to go. Baby, Isis ate her ass up. Okay? All Andrea did, first of all, was pull Isis' braids. But Isis parked that bitch. Okay? As Ivory likes to say, she parked that hoe. Did y'all see? She busted that hoe straight in the mouth. Andrea had BLOOD running out her mouth. I'm like, ooh. And I ooh. And I ooh. Now, and did you notice, as soon as Isis did that, what did Danny do? Danny did this. Danny didn't want the smoke. When Danny saw what Isis did, she said, okay, I'm going to stop running my mouth. I don't want the smoke. She knew better. Good decision, Danny. That's probably the smartest thing I've seen you do in your 3 seasons in the Cabaret. I probably would have left it alone too, baby, because neither one of you girls can fight. Neither one of you girls can fight. You really can't. And Andrea over here with ketchup mouth. Danny over here like big Isis, not the little one. Big Isis, not the little. And then, to make matters worse, Andrea is pissed. So this nasty, dirty, low-down, disgusting animal, which is why I call her a hyena, she walks over and spits towards Isis, y'all. She spits. Now, mind you, this girl, her mouth is busted open. BLOOD in her mouth, and then you spit at someone? How dare you? It's disgusting to spit at someone, period. And oftentimes I've even sometimes not even give people a pass for spitting, but I'll be like I don't agree with it, but sometimes you get pissed in the moment, you do fucked up shit, right? But for you to have BLOOD in your mouth and you spit on someone, you dirty hyena, you dirty prostitute, you. How dare you? And we coming out of a pandemic from a couple of years ago. Well, I don't know if you got COVID. I don't know if you got the herpes. I don't know if you got the motherfucking hepatitis, bitch. I don't know what you got. And Andrea keeps running with this narrative that Isis is jealous of her. Jealous of what? Please, please, Andrea, help us understand what possibly Isis could be jealous of. A yappy sex worker? One of Joseline's yappy sex workers, allegedly? No. Come on now. Now, Isis at this point, she's done hit Andrea so hard that she thinks she broke her hand. And you know you don't hit somebody hard when you don't fucked your hand up. So she's getting her hand iced. And I guess I don't know what's wrong with these girls. They're stupid because here come Kay. Well, actually, we got two versions of the story because Isis says that Kay comes over there and Isis tells her to stop inserting herself into their drama, which actually we didn't get two different stories. Kay did say that too. That is the story. Kay didn't come over to start anything. I don't know what she came over there to do, but when she came over there, Isis pretty much told her, you jumped in earlier saying that I started it when you need to stay the fuck out of shit. So that turns into a situation. And Kay says, your hand is broke. And Isis says, the other one's not. That's why I fuck with her. She ain't playing around, okay? Because Kay thought she was being cute. Talking about, your hand's broke. She said, the other one's not, baby. Whop! And she clocked Kay. And she knocked Jigsaw. You should have stayed out of it. Like, why did you even leave the stairs to come over there? What were you even doing over there, my love? We're doing elimination. All the girls are on the staircase. You walk over to where Isis is getting her hand iced up and bandaged. For what? Joseline even laughed at the fact that Isis slapped Kay. I think Joseline likes Isis a lot. I think she thinks that she's pretty, and I think that she thinks Isis can dance, and that she's obviously bringing the drama. Because this is Isis, like, since the season has started, Isis has brought the most out of all the new girls. She's bringing the heat. Allegedly, she can dance, according to her. We haven't seen her dance yet, but she says that she can dance. She's pretty. She's well put together. I'm here for it, and I think Joseline is too. Now, Joseline does tell Mooney. Mooney is the BBW. She tells Mooney that she would like to see more of her personality. And Raven says, I tried to tell her that earlier on the bus. And Mooney says, a few girls have told me that, but it was the way that you did it, Raven. That's what Mooney says, and I agree with her with that. Now, Joseline ends up going in on Danny about it being immature, and I was just here for it. I'm like, finally, I'm loving it. She actually not only went in on Danny, she kind of went in on Danny, Diamond, Raven, and Andrea. She says, for y'all to be OGs, you're the most immature. You're walking around here thinking you've got it made, bebopping around here. You're not really putting in any work. You're not really trying. It's giving lazy. It's giving entitled. And I'm like, I mean, that's what I see too. Even though Diamond's not really bothering me, as much as the other three. I can tolerate Diamond. But my thing is, we could have done without all these girls. Besides all the OGs that came back, we could have done without. Besides Wet Wet. Andrea, Danny, Raven, Diamond, we didn't need them. They didn't bring anything. The only girls in the past the only girls that are really worthy of coming back are like, and we know they're not coming back, but Big Lex, Lucky, Daisy, Lexi Blow, is it Lexi Blow? Maybe I got the wrong one. Y'all know the girls from the past seasons that were actually somewhat entertaining. Now, when Joseline ate Danny's ass up, did y'all hear her? She said, yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, Miss Joseline. Yes, Miss Joseline. You fucking bobble-headed bitch. Why? Like, really? Your mother, I'm sure, is so proud, Danny. So proud. I mean, you've literally got a female pimp. Now, Joseline ends up sending Mooney home, which Mooney's the bigger girl. I hate to keep saying that, but being so new in the season, I'm trying to explain who everybody is to you guys at home in case you're not familiar with the names, okay? But I guess I can understand a little bit, that Mooney wasn't the loudest. Mooney wasn't the most entertaining. She wasn't in your face. We didn't see her showing ass and titties, and she wasn't fighting. And that's my thing though, because she even said that, like, I'm not gonna fight. But my thing is, like, this is the cabaret, and she said she wasn't gonna show ass and titties. But I'm like, if you know that the cabaret, what the cabaret's about, why would you even come on the show if you're not going to show the girls and let it all out? Because there are a lot of men who love big girls. It's not like people are going to be like, ew, put your clothes on. There are men that love the big girls. So I think that's why Joseline wanted her in the cabaret. Now, Joseline also sent home a girl by the name of Fetish. You probably don't remember Fetish. She didn't get much camera time. She wasn't that exciting either. I think Fetish was honestly too normal and humble for the show. She seemed like a sweet girl, beautiful girl. She was the one that had that blue hair. She reminded me of, y'all remember Monique Coleman from High School Musical? That's who. Now, Joseline opens the door to the house and tells the girls, she sends she sends Fetish home, and then she says, I have someone here for you guys. She opens the door and she lets Wet Wet back in. Now, Wet Wet got a good reception. The girls clapped for her coming back into the home. And Joseline says she doesn't know why she keeps giving Wet Wet chances. She says she has no choice. And I'm like, yeah, we know you have no choice. We know why you keep giving Wet Wet chances. You have to. She's the show. The Lemon Pepper's on the sidelines like, we got to have Wet Wet back. Bring her on back in. Now, Wet Wet apologizes. She said she was wrong. She takes accountability. And she says that she's been dealing with her own personal issues at home, which has been kind of a result of her acting out. And Joseline says, are you talking about the issues with your son? And Wet Wet, says, yes, it's been rough. Wet Wet has a child that has special needs, I believe. Now, Joseline hugs Wet Wet. She tells her that everything's going to be all right. And again, this is the Joseline I like to see. Sober, compassionate. Now, every now and then, it's nice to see Joseline get in the girl's ass and do her thing, right? Do her Joseline thing. That's entertaining. But to see the human side of her, to see her let her walls down, her guard down, be nice, be kind, be comforting, be a mother figure to these girls, because that's what she can be. She's been where they are, being in the strip club, dancing, trying to make ends meet. I think she could be there more, be there for them more, and help them more than she could harm them, right? Now, Joseline tells the girls that she's going to let the rest of them stay. So 4 people are not going home, only 2. And she tells Wet Wet, you can come back in the house, but you're not competing for the $50K because you're not dancing. And Wet Wet hits the floor. She hits the floor, her wig falls off, and I'm like, this is why I love her. It's funny. She's funny, and that didn't seem like that was premeditated. That just seems like that's Wet Wet extra. Like, oh, what? I can't compete for the $50K. Now, the last scene, we see some of the girls chilling in the living room with the 2 new girls, because I told y'all 2 new girls came in the house that Joseline brought from the pool party. Now, some of the girls are not feeling these 2 new girls because, again, they feel like they did not have to go through what everyone else went through to get in the house. They didn't have to go through the audition process. They just were chosen and got to come right in. But my thing is, with that, we can't be mad at those girls for that. What were they supposed to do? Turn it down? No, sorry, I didn't get to audition, so I don't want the spot. We can't blame them for that, right? So they're chilling, and things start to get tense when Ocean tells the girls that they don't deserve to be there. But it's like Joseline made the decision. Why don't you go address Joseline and stop addressing those girls? Because again, what did you want them to do? Turn it down? I feel like that the girls are addressing the wrong one. But let's be real, they're not gonna address Joseline about that. Y'all chicken shit, because you know you'll be out the door, or she'll probably pimp slap you. So I was shocked beyond belief when girl, what's the other girl's name? I can't think of her name. The other thick girl. She's a thicker girl. I liked her at first a lot, but she threw me off with this last scene here, because she stood up and she said, y'all are some real sweethearts. I think y'all are probably really cool girls, really pretty girls. She's like, she says, but y'all got to get the fuck on. And she takes her wig off. She throws her wig, takes her jewelry off, and they just start attacking these new girls. Ocean and the other BBW both start attacking the new girls out of nowhere. I'm like, what? And even Raven in that moment, Raven was like, this is so ghetto. I can't. That moment I actually appreciated from Raven, because I was like kind of with her on that. I'm like, what did these girls do? This is a little ghetto. Like, why are we fighting them because they were chosen to come in the house? It's giving y'all want camera time. It's giving let's make a moment. Let's, because at the end of the day, the cabaret is more than being a good dancer. Not only do you have to keep yourself in the house by being a good dancer, you also have to keep yourself in the house by being entertaining. Being a good dancer is not going to cut it, because not only are you trying to sell for the cabaret, you're trying to sell for Zeus Network. You've got to be entertaining to them, because you are trying to impress Joseline, but you're also trying to impress the producers behind the scenes. So I feel like these girls, a lot of them feel the pressure. They feel like the pressure is on to make themselves stand out and look good. Mooney just went home because she wasn't doing enough. So it's like, let's fuck these girls up. And then Ocean, you're a bandwagon bitch. I noticed Ocean is a kiss ass. She's been licking Joseline's ass since she got here. And she bandwagoned on the other girl real quick, because as soon as the other girl was like, let's go, I'm fisting to fight y'all right now, she's like, yeah, let's go. And they just started attacking. And I think they were even going to try jumping at one point, but somebody said, no jumping, no jumping, no jumping. Ocean was trying to attack the same girl that the other girl was attacking. That's why it kind of like a jumpation going on there. I mean, so far this has been a pretty good season. Things are starting to heat up as the season goes on. Next week we're going to see Joseline knock Wet Wet upside the head, and I think Wet Wet actually goes home after this, unfortunately. But Wet Wet, you should have known better, because did y'all see what she did? Wet Wet came in a maid outfit, trying to recreate the scene from Love and Hip Hop, the famous Love and Hip Hop scene where Joseline says, hey maid. So Wet Wet comes in with her little maid outfit, and she's got a duster. And she takes the duster and she dusts off Joseline's desk that Joseline is sitting behind. And then after she dusts the desk off, she puts the duster in Joseline's face up under her nose. And Joseline immediately was like, bop. And I'm like, oh, Wet Wet, why did you do that, my love? You just put dust in her face. Like, oh no. We're going to watch it all play out next week, and you better believe we're going to talk about it right here on Damien After Dark. You don't want to miss it. Make sure you subscribe to the channel so you never miss a beat. Also, press that thumbs up button and like this video. That helps me get into the algorithm. Join the conversation and get in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this episode. If you want to donate to the Damien After Dark movement and help us grow and sustain this channel, in the description box below will be some ways that you can do so. My dog's in there barking. I gotta go, y'all. We gotta cut this short, okay? I love you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Damien After Dark.